Hello viewers, in this video we will see the center-state relations from the Polity by Lakshmikant book. We will see this chapter in three heads, that is legislative relations, administrative relations and the financial relations between the center and state. And also we will see the latest trends in center-state relationship. And also we will see the recommendations by various committees Rajamanna Committee, Administrative Reforms Commission, Sarkaria Commission and Punchi Commission. Coming to center-state relations, the relations are divided into three heads: legislature, executive and financial powers. There is no division between central state when it comes to judicial power because we have an integrated judiciary. So we have only three heads of relationship, that is legislative relationship, executive relationship and the financial relationship. Coming to legislative relationship, the relation is mentioned in Article 245 to 255 in Part 11 of our Constitution. There are four important aspects of center-state relations when it comes to legislative relations. That is territorial extent of legislature, both parliament and state legislature, distribution of legislative subjects between the parliament and state legislature, parliamentary legislation in the state field. We have five extraordinary circumstances in which parliament can legislate in a state list, and central's control over state legislation. Coming to the territorial extent, Parliament can legislate for the whole of India, while state can legislate for whole of India or whole of the state or outside that state only after the nexus with that particular state in which they want to legislate. And only Parliament alone has the right or jurisdiction over extraterritorial legislation. So any legislation that deals with NRIs or foreign assets can be passed only in Parliament. Coming to exceptions to Parliament's territorial jurisdiction are, that is, if Parliament passes a legislature, certain and few circumstances, these legislation may be banned from execution in particular place. Like for example, President can stop certain legislation in four union territories like Andaman and Nicobar, Daman and Diu, and Dadar and Nagar Haveli and Lakshadweep. And also governor can stop certain laws that was passed by parliament in certain in the scheduled areas if he thinks so. And also governor of Assam also can stop certain laws in the tribal areas of autonomous districts. And president can also again stop certain laws in the tribal areas of Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Coming to distribution of legislative subjects, we have threefold distribution of legislative subjects which are mentioned in the 7th schedule of our constitution. The threefold distribution is the union list, state list and the concurrent list. Currently we have 100 subjects in union list, while earlier there was only 97. Similarly for state list we have 61 currently, while it was 66 earlier. In concurrent we have 52 currently and we had 47 earlier. These are all the subjects that comes under a union list. These are not exhaustive, but these are all important, most frequently asked in many of the examinations like defense, banking, foreign affairs, currency, atomic energy, insurance, communication, interstate trade and commerce, census and audit. Coming to state list, public order, police, public health, sanitation, agriculture, prisons, local governments, fisheries, markets and theatres and gambling. Coming to concurrent lists, we have criminal law and procedure, CRPC, civil procedure, marriage and divorce, population control, electricity, labor welfare, economic and social planning, drugs, newspaper, books and printing press. When in case of overlap between center law over the state law or in the concurrent list, central law prevails except when the president gives an assent for that particular state law. In 42nd Constitution Amendment Act, Uh, from list to concurrent list, these subjects were moved, like education, forests and vegetation measures, protection of wildlife animals, birds, and administration of justice were moved from state list to concurrent list. These are all important and asked quite frequently in many examinations. Residual powers with center, just like in case of Canada, but in case of USA and Australia, the residuary powers is with states. Government of India Act 1935, the residuary powers was with Governor General, so we followed that same law in after independence. Coming to parliamentary legislation in the state list or state field, there are five extraordinary circumstances in which the parliament can legislate on the state list. This is when the Raj Sabha passes a resolution, and during national emergency, when more than two states make a request to the parliament, and to implement an international agreement, and during president's rule. In these five circumstances, parliament can legislate in a state field. So coming to the first circumstance, when the Raj Sabha passes a resolution. For that, Raj Sabha has to pass that resolution with two-thirds of members present and voting. And the resolution is valid for 1 year, and the law valid for 6 months after the resolution expires. And state can also make laws. In case of inconsistency, parliament laws prevails. So any law that is made is not permanent, it lasts for 6 months. And during emergency, it is valid for 6 months after emergency. A state can also make laws. So again, this any law that was made also not permanent. After 6 months, this expires. When two states come together and ask the parliament to legislate on a particular state subject, the parliament legislates, and this law is applicable only to those two states or more than the two states. For example, three states together, four states together, or it is applicable only in the case of these states. Such law can be amended and repealed only by the parliament. Once the parliament makes a law, the law can be amended and the repealed only by the parliament. State can't make laws on that matter. While in earlier two cases, a state can make laws, while in this case, state can't make a law. Examples include Price Competition Act of 1955, Wildlife Act of 1972, Water Prevention Control of Pollution Act of 1974, Urban Land Sealing Regulation Act of 1976, and Transportation of Human Organs Act of 1994. And to implement any international agreements that the central government has signed, the parliament can legislate even if that particular subject belongs to a state subject. And during president's rule, law parliament can legislate and the law is valid even after president rule. But then the state can repeal that particular law if the state feels that that law is no more necessary or needed. Coming to center's control over state legislation, governor can reserve a bill and the president has an absolute veto. That is, president can say that that particular legislation is not valid. And certain bill needs the president's approval for even introduction in the state legislature. President can reserve money bill and financial bill during a financial emergency. Sarkaria Commission on Center-State Relations said that center supremacy is needed for stability. And we will see in detail about the Sarkaria Commission. Coming to administrative relations, we have finished our legislative relations. Now we are coming to the administrative relations. The relationship is mentioned between the Article 256 to 263 in Part 11 of our Constitution. We will see administrative relations in various heads, that is distribution of executive powers. The distribution of executive power is same as that of legislative powers, except when it comes to concurrent list, execution is with the state by default unless parliament specifically confers that particular list on the center. Example, Essential Commodities Acts implemented by state but passed by center. Coming to obligation of state on center's direction, to give ample scope to the center for exercising its executive power, every state has an obligation to follow the center's direction. If the state fails to follow the obligation or the uh, or the or the legislation or the orders passed by the center can impose a president rule under Article 365. Coming to center's direction to states. This is meant for construction and maintenance of means of communication, protection of railways, and mother tongue instruction for linguistic minorities and scheduled tribes. And if states doesn't follow the direction of center can impose a president rule under Article 365 again. Coming to mutual delegation of executive power, president uh, can delegate the power of the center to the state with the state's permission, and also governor can delegate a duty or power to the center with the center's permission. That is, this is the executive duty of the state. Governor can delegate the executive duty of the state to the center with the center's permission. Parliament to state can be delegated even without a state's permission. Coming to cooperation between the centers and states, Parliament can provide for adjudication of disputes regarding interstate rivers and river valley. President under Article 263 can establish an interstate council to deal with center-state relations. Even though it's called interstate council, this is not intra-state council, it is an interstate council. So this deals with the center and state relationships. And full faith and credit to public acts, records and judicial proceedings of the center and the state throughout India is applicable. A parliament can appoint authority to enforce the constitution provisions relating to interstate freedom of trade, commerce and intercourse. Coming to all India services, we have three all India services: Indian Administrative Service, Indian Police Service, it's not IPA, it's IPS, and Indian Forest Service. Recruited and trained by the center, controlled jointly by the center and the state, but ultimate control is with the center while the immediate control is with the state. The evolution of All India Services in 1947, All India Service replaced the Indian Administrative Service replaced the Indian Civil Service. And in 1947, not 1974, Indian Police Service replaced the Indian Police. In 1966, Indian Forest Service was created as the third All India Service. Article 312 deals with Parliament can create an All India Service if Rajya Sabha passes a bill. Coming to issues with All India Service is it violates the federalism because it is recruited and trained by the center, and the ultimate control is with the center while they are deputed or they work at the state. Some of the positives of All India Service is high standard of administration, uniformity in administration throughout the country, and it facilitates coordination and cooperation between the center and states. Coming to Public Service Commission, the chairman and members of State Public Service Commission is appointed by governor but is removed by president. In case of Joint State Public Service Commission, Parliament establishes such thing on the state's request, and the chair and members are appointed by President himself, not the governor. Because there will be two or more governors, or even one or more governors in case of two or more states come together to form a Joint State Public Service Commission. Coming to integrated judicial system, single system enforces both central and state laws. It is not the case when it comes to USA. High Court judge appointed by President on consultation of Chief Justice of India and the Governor of that state. Parliament can establish a common high court, and it has done it so in case of Goa and Maharashtra, Punjab and Haryana. Coming to relationship between during the emergency, when we have a national emergency under Article 352, there is a complete control of the state by the center, though the state is not suspended. In case of President's rule under Article 356, President assumes the power of governor and the state is suspended. When it comes to financial emergency under Article 360, center and center and president can direct the state to do whatever they want in terms of financial relationship. For example, the center says that cut down the salary payment to the government officials by say 30%, and the state has to obey all these orders. Coming to other provisions, Article 355 says that center should protect state from external aggression and ensure the constitution is followed. When it comes to governor holds the office of governor until the pleasure of the president, and he acts as an agent of the center. Coming to state election commissioner, chairman and members of state public service commission, though are appointed by governor, only the president can remove them. Coming to extra constitutional devices, extra constitutional devices or the advisory bodies and the conferences. Coming to the non-constitutional advisory bodies, these are all the extra constitutional or non-constitutional advisory bodies: Niti Aayog, National Development Council, National Integration Council, so on and so forth. These are the conferences that affects the center-state relations. Governors Conference presided over President, CM's Conference presided over by Prime Minister, Conference of Inspector General of Police, Chief Justice Conference presided over Chief Justice of India, Conferences of Vice Chancellors, Home Ministers Conference presided over the Central Home Minister, or the Law Ministers Conference presided over the Central Law Minister. Coming to the final relationship, that is financial relationship between the center and state, it's mentioned in the article 268 to 293. Allocation of the taxation power. Parliament on the 13 subjects they can in the union list, and state can legislate on 18 subjects in the state list when it comes to taxation powers. And 101st Constitution Amendment Act added the GST in the concurrent list. Residual powers of taxation is with Parliament, and therefore the gift tax, wealth tax and expenditure tax was imposed by the center. Coming to restriction on taxing power of states by the constitution, professional taxes, trade taxes or employment taxes are restricted, that is they can't be more than 2500 rupees per annum. No tax on goods and services if the supply is outside the state and the such supply takes place in the course of import or export of a goods and service. And tax on consumption or sale of electricity is allowed, but not if it is consumed by the center, that is central government, and if the sale or consumption of that particular electricity is by the railways, the state can't tax those electricities. Tax on water or electricity developed by the authority established by Parliament on the interstate rivers can be taxed, but it needs the president's assent. Coming to distribution of tax revenues, according to 80th Constitution Amendment Act passed in 2000, to give effect to 10th Financial Commission recommendations, 29% of total income to states retrospectively from the 1996, also known as alternate scheme of devolution. Giving 29% of total income of the center to the state is also called as alternate scheme of devolution. 101st Constitutional Amendment Act 2016. This added GST in the concurrent list and it subsumed these taxes into one head, that is called GST, goods and service tax, like excise duty, all sort of excise duties, service tax, value added tax, surcharges, cesses, purchase tax, luxury tax, all these taxes were added under the head of GST. Coming to taxes levied by center but collected and appropriated by the state, it's mentioned in Article 268, stamp duties on bills of exchange, checks, promissory notes, insurance policies, taxes on insurance policies, taxes on transfer of shares and others. Taxes levied and collected by the center but assigned to the states are mentioned in Article 269. The interstate trade except newspaper trade and proceeds are not a part of consolidated fund of India. That is, all the taxes that are collected is not a part of consolidated fund of India. Coming to interstate goods and service tax, it is mentioned in Article 269 Clause A. It is collected by the center and divided between the center and state in the manner provided by the GST Council. And all the states are members of this GST Council. Taxes levied and collected by the center but distributed between the center and state is mentioned under Article 270. Taxes in the union list, all the taxes in the union list except the taxes mentioned above, these three, and surcharges on the taxes in Article 271, this one, surcharges and cess. Everything is distributed between the center and state. And the manner of distribution is prescribed by the President on Financial Commission's recommendation. Coming to surcharges on the taxes, it's mentioned in Article 271. All the proceeds from the surcharges need not be shared with the states. And GST is exempted from any sort of surcharge by the center. Coming to taxes levied, collected and retained by the state, and these taxes are mentioned in the state list, that is 18 in number. These are all the subjects on which the state can levy a tax. Most important is this, and alcohol. These are the key and most highest revenue yielding tax for the states. In case of certain states like Orissa, mineral rights can also be one of the high yielding tax collecting stream. In case of agricultural income, most of the states doesn't tax the agricultural income. Coming to distribution of non-tax revenues, that is any proceeds that the center gets through any means that is not a part of tax. For example, center gets the revenues of post and telegraphs, railways, banking, broadcasting, coinage and currency, and central public service center PSUs and SGT and labs. SGT and labs means, for example, if the land is, if a particular asset's owner can't be traced, that particular asset will go to the center. For example, the enemy aliens assets will go to the center. Similarly, for the state also, all the proceeds from irrigation, forest, fisheries, state PSUs, and SGT and labs. Coming to grant in aids to the states, there are two types of grants, specifically speaking. Statutory grants and the discretionary grants. Statutory grants are mentioned in the Article 275. There are general grants to the states in need of a grant, especially northeastern states, tribal states, and less developed states. Also, specific grants to the states for promoting welfare of the scheduled tribes. And the grants depend on the Financial Commission's recommendation, and it is charged on the Consolidated Fund of India. Discretionary grants can be granted by both center and state, and it is mentioned by Article 272. State can discretionarily grant a certain amount, say, to any institution under the state government, say for example local self government, or center to the state. Other grants uh, have a temporary life period of 10 years since the commencement of constitution. Such grants are like in lieu of export duties on jute and its products in the state of Assam, Bihar, Orissa, and West Bengal. They were given specific grants to promote these products as an export product, and it is charged on the Consolidated Fund of India, and it is made on the recommendation of Financial Commission. Coming to Finance Commission, it's mentioned under Article 280. It's a quasi judicial body asked many times in the objective oriented examinations, constituted by the president every fifth year, or in case if he needs it he can even constitute it earlier. Financial Commission recommends certain recommendations to president on these subjects, that is the distribution of net tax between center state, and also the distribution of taxes among the states. Principles governing grantinate that we have seen these grants. Measures need to augment this consolidated fund of the state on the basis of recommendation of the State Financial Commission. Any financial matters referred by the President to the Financial Commission. And it is said Financial Commission is the balancing wheel of fiscal federalism in India. Coming to protection of the state's interest, to protect state interest, following bills can be introduced only by the President recommendations. Example, tax on states share of proceeds, agricultural income, principles on money distribution between to the states from the center, and surcharges on the taxes. Borrowing by the center and states. Center can borrow within the state and outside the state upon the consolidated fund of India as the security, within a limit fixed by the parliament, but so far no such limit was fixed. While state can borrow only within India upon the consolidated fund of state as its security, within a limit fixed by the state legislature. Center can also make loans charged on the consolidated fund of India to any state, or can give a guarantee to the other financiers when the state takes a loan from that particular financier, or could be a bank. State needs center's consent to raise loan if there is still already a loan is outstanding. Coming to intergovernment tax immunities, exemption of central property from the state's taxation. All the properties of central governments, while public sector enterprises are not immune, public sector enterprises can be taxed by the state, but then every other assets are immune from the taxation of state. Coming to exemption of state property from the center's taxation, property and income of state is exempted. All the income, for example, say the licensing fee, or the fee that government charges, the taxes that the government charge in case of a professional tax, whatever income may be, all these are exempted. But then center can tax any income that comes out of the commercial operations. For example, a state is running a paper mill or it is running a oil refinery, they then center can tax these operations. And also property and income of the local authorities are also taxable. For example, if the local self government runs entertainment complex or runs shops, series of shops within a bus stand or a series of shops outside a railway, some public place, these things can be taxed. Coming to effect of emergencies in the center state relations during national emergency, uh, it is uh, it is imposed under article 352. President can modify the distribution of revenue between the center and state when a national emergency is passed. In case of financial emergency imposed under article 360, center can direct state on financial propriety, reduce the salaries, reserve all bill or financial bill for president's considerations. Coming to the trends in center state relationship, till 1967 there were no issues between the center and state. The relationship was smooth because a single party ruled both the center and state, that is Congress party. But then after 1967, Congress lost seats in 9 states and regional government became stronger and they demanded more power and financial resources from the center, which then on led to the friction between the center and state. Coming to the tension areas in the center state relationship, the mode of appointment, dismissal of governor, partisan role of governor, president rule for partisan interests, deployment of central forces in the states to maintain law and order, a reservation of states bill for president's consent by the governor, discrimination in financial allocation to the states, role of planning commission in approving state projects, management of all India services, use of electronic media for political purposes, appointment of enquiry commission against the CM, sharing finances between the center and state, encroachment on the state list by the center. These issues led to the following developments, like administrative reform commission dealt with the center state relationship, Raja Mannar committee set up by the Tamil Nadu government, Anandpur Sahib resolution by Akali Dal, West Bengal memorandum, Sarkaria commission, Punchi commission. These two commissions were set up by the center themselves and set up exclusively to deal with the center state relationship, how the center state relationship can be improved. These are the two important commissions. Coming to administrative reform commission, the first administrative reform commission was set up in 1966 under Moraji Desai, but then later it was headed by Hanuman Daya. It recommended establishing interstate council under Article 263. Governor should have a long experience in public life and administration, and he should be a non-partisan in attitude. That there should be a maximum delegation of power to the states. There should be a transfer of more financial resources to the state to reduce the dependency. And the centers should deploy the central armed police force in the states only on their request. These are the recommendations by the first YASI when it comes to the center state relations, but no actions were taken by the center on its recommendations. Rajamana committee was set up in 1969. You can this year is important, and you can see the importance of this year by the Tamil Nadu government under Dr. P.V. Rajamanar, and he was asked to find the reasons for unitary trends in our constitution. Why, even though we have a federalism, there are certain unitary traits. Because we have in a constitution confers special powers to the center, And in case of one party rule in center and state, there will be unitary tendencies. And states dependence on center for its fiscal resources. And centers centralized planning like planning commission is also the reason for unitary trends. And this committee recommended these things, and these are the recommendations. Set up interstate council, just like ARC said. Immediately, financial commission should be made a permanent body. So far, it is constituted every 5 years, but they wanted it to be a permanent body. Replace planning commission with a new statutory body. Planning commission was set up under executive order. And article 356, 357 and 365 dealing with president's rule should be completely omitted. National emergency is allowed, but then president rules should be completely omitted. Remove state ministry holds office during the pleasure of government. This provision that state ministry holding office during the pressure of government should be removed from the constitution. Certain union list and concurrent list should be transferred to the state lists. Certain subjects in a union list and concurrent lists. Residual powers should be vested with the states, and all India services should be abolished. But then the center completely ignored the recommendations because it was set up by a state. That also particularly one state, and also the center doesn't want to give up on its power. Anandpur Sahib resolution a couple of years later by Akali Dal. These are all the recommendations made by them. Center's jurisdiction should be limited to defense, foreign affairs, communication, and currency. You can see the level of recommendations. They want centers to be completely limited within only to the defense, foreign affairs, communication, and currency, and the residuary powers with the states, and equal representation to all the states, like USA. Coming to West Bengal memorandum, again it was in again few years after in 1977 by West Bengal's communist government. These are all the recommendations by that particular memorandum. Union should be replaced with the federal in our constitution. The word union of state should be replaced as federal of federalism. Center's jurisdiction should be limited to defense, foreign affairs, currency and communication, and economic coordination. Residuary powers with the states. All the president's rule and the financial emergency article should be repealed. State consent is obligatory to form any new states, and 75% of total revenue should be allocated to the states, and just 25% should be used to maintain these few subjects. And in Raj Sabha should have equal powers with that of Lok Sabha, and all India services should be abolished. We can see this is one a constant recommendation by every committees that dealt with the center-state relationship. Coming to Sarkaria Commission, it was set up by Government of India, that is Center. It is the first such commission. In 1983, under R.S. Sarkaria, the retired Supreme Court judge, he submitted a report after quite some time. He took more than 5 years, and did not favor a structural change like earlier these committees. They just favored a functional and operational aspects, because they believed federalism is a functional arrangement for cooperative action than a static institutional concept. And strong center is essential to safeguard the national unity and integrity. But strong center doesn't mean centralization of powers, because over centralization can lead to blood pressure at the center and anemia at the periphery. And they had a lot of recommendations. For example, they had 247 recommendations. Center implemented a 180 of the 247 recommendations, while the most important recommendation is setting up interstate council in 1990. Coming to the most important recommendations, The recommendations of Sarkaria Commission is set up a permanent interstate council called Intergovernmental Council under Article 263, which was set up, and use Article 356 sparingly, that is President's rule. Strengthen All India service. This is one thing that was quite different from earlier center state relationship commission or committee, and also as to create more such services. Usually all the center state relation commissions ask to abolish All India service, but in case of Sarkaria Commission, they ask to strengthen it and also create more such services. Residuary power of taxation with the center and other residuary powers in concurrent list. President withholds state bills should be communicated to the states. Earlier it wasn't the case, and presently it wasn't the case. And National Development Council should be reconstituted as National Economic and Development Council. Zonal Council to be reactivated to promote the spirit of federalism. Center should have powers to deploy CAPF, that is Central Armed Police Force, or even armed forces, even without the consent of state. But yet the center should, yet the state should be consulted. Currently, the center can deploy CAPF only after the consent of the state. Coming to and the center should consult the states before legislating on the state subjects. We have seen how the parliament can legislate on the state subjects, that 5 exception cases in earlier, and in case if the parliament decides to legislate, they should consult the states. Procedure for consulting the CM before appointing the governor should be prescribed in the constitution itself. And proceeds from the corporation tax should be shareable with the states. Later on, center government started sharing it. Earlier, it wasn't the case. And corporation tax was one of the most highest revenue generating sector for the center government. Governor can't dismiss Council of Ministers as long as they enjoy a majority. And there shall be no inquiry commission against state minister unless it is demanded in the parliament. Surcharges on income tax should not be levied except for specific purpose, and if it is levied, and it should be limited, it should be levied for the limited period. Coming to division of functions between financial commission and planning commission should be continued, and they should implement 3-language formula, and there shall be no autonomy for radio and TV, but there should be decentralized their operations. Back then, radio and TV was one of the only mode of communication between the government and the people, and there shall be no change in the role of Rajya Sabha and the center's power to reorganize the states. Commissioner for Linguistics Minorities should be activated. These are all the recommendations by Sarkaria Commission. Then again, after almost 20 years, almost more than 27 years, I think 30 years, yeah. After 30 years, second Center State Commission was set up by Government of India in 2007 under chairmanship of Madan Mohan Punchi, who is the former Chief Justice of India. He submitted a report in 3 years and took the help of Sarkaria Commission report, National Commission to review the working of Constitution and report, and the second ARC. He took help from all these reports, and he came up with certain recommendations. While the gist of the report is cooperative federalism will be the key for sustaining India's unity, integrity, and socio-economic development in future. So this is the gist or the crux of the report or the recommendation, you can tell. Coming to the purpose of the commission, that is terms of reference of the commission is to examine and review the existing arrangement of center state in relation in the constitution, and healthy precedents followed in terms of center state relationship. The all the court proceedings that affect center state relationships, functions, responsibilities in legislative relationship, administrative relationships, role of governor, emergency provisions, financial relations, economic and social planning, PRIs, sharing of resources between including river water, and socio-economic development, especially since the 1990s. With due regard to constitutional framework, and all the recommendations should have the due regard to constitutional framework and the scheme. A role, responsibility, and jurisdiction of center vis-a-vis the state during communal violence, caste violence, social conflict, mega projects that like interlink of rivers that needs cooperation of more than one or one states, devolution of power to local self-governments and other autonomous bodies in the autonomous districts and the tribal districts, independent planning and budgeting at district level, linking of central assistance to performance of the states, and positive discrimination in favor of backward states. Fiscal relationship, taxation, freeing interstate trade. These things should be kept in mind by the commission when they are making a recommendation. Jurisdiction of central law enforcement agency on crimes of interstate nature, and deploying of central armed police force without consent under Article 355. So under Article 355, center can deploy CAPF without the consent. Coming to the recommendations, we are going to see quite a bit of recommendations, almost 39 recommendations. The recommendations are there should be a broad agreement between the center and state while legislating on the concurrent list for effectiveness of that legislation, and there should be greater flexibility to the states when they are legislating on the state list or the concurrent list. That is, states should be given more freedom while they are legislating on the concurrent list, and keeping concurrent list to the bare minimum to avoid any discrepancies or the avoid any issues, because concurrent list has been one of the friction area between the center and state. So it's necessary to keep concurrent list to the bare minimum. Continue auditing role of the interstate council in management of overlapping jurisdiction, and 6-month period for president should be given for assent or withholding an assent to a state bill that was reserved by the governor, and limit the parliament's power that is under the entry 14 of the list 1, that is treaty making and implementing it power through parliamentary legislation. Even though if it is a list, it comes under list 1, it's necessary to limit the parliament's power when it comes to legislation on this particular subject. Financial Commission should take into account the financial implication arising out of the treaties and agreements that central government signs abroad. Selection of governor should have these qualities. He should be eminent, outside the state, detached figure from the local politics, and not in politics in recent past. Governor should have a fixed tenure of 5 years. And so far governor holds an office until the pleasure of the president, but Punchi Commission recommended there should be fixed tenure of 5 years, and impeachment procedure for president should be extended to the governor as well. Nowadays, just if president thinks the governor can be removed, but instead they recommended impeachment like president. And discretionary powers under Article 163 should be dictated by the reason, activated by the good faith, and tempered by the caution. The discretionary powers of the governor. And governor has 6 month time for assent and should reserve a state bill. Governor's role in appointment of chief minister in case of hung parliament. In case of hung parliament, governor should invite the party or the coalition that commands the widest support, or the pre-poll alliance or a coalition. In case neither a pre-poll alliance or a coalition or any party gets a clear majority in the floor, governor can invite these four category parties, that is pre-poll alliance, largest single party, post-electoral coalition with some parties supporting that coalition from outside. And dismissal of chief minister should be only after the floor test, and the floor test should be conducted within a time limit specified by the governor. The governor can't simply dismiss the CM. Governor should have the right to sanction prosecution against the state minister if cabinet decision is biased. Governor's chancellorship should be banned and he should be limited to the constitutional duties. Currently, governor is chancellor of every universities in that particular states. And Article 356 should be limited strictly to the rectification of failure of constitutional machinery in that state, and amend the constitution incorporating the guidelines ruled in the SR Bommai case when it comes to invoking Article 356 for the failure of constitutional machinery. In case of invoking Article 352, that is national emergency, and Article 356 President rule, should be a last resort, and even if it is a last resort, it should be a localized emergency, and such a localized emergency can be invoked under Article 355, which is the duty of union to protect the states, because most of the time Article 352 is imposed on telling the duty on the premise of duty of union to protect the state from a threat. But then that threat is usually political in nature. That is rarely it is a failure of a constitutional machinery. Coming to they also make interstate council a credible, powerful and fair institution under Article 263. Zonal council should meet at least twice a year. Secretariat of interstate council can be used for zonal council as well. Set up forum for chief minister chaired by one chief minister by rotation for policy matters of energy, food, education, environment, health, just like an empowered committee of financial ministers of states for interstate coordination of fiscal matters. We have to set up a forum for chief minister as well. And create all India service, not IAS, all India service for health, education, engineering and judiciary. Amend constitution to make Rajya Sabha more representative forum of states. Equality of representation in Rajya Sabha for states. Constitutional mandate for devolution of power to local self-government. So far there is no constitutional mandate. There is a constitutional mandate to a limited extent under the 73rd and 74th Constitution Amendment Act. But then when it comes to devolution of power, there should be more constitutional mandate. All central legislation involving states should have a cost sharing mechanism, just like when the parliament passed Right to Education Act. And royalty rates on the major minerals that are mined from particular state should be revised every 3 years based on the market conditions. Because once the royalty rates are fixed, the mining would happen for next 10 to 20 years or 30 years. By then the cost of that particular mineral shoots up, but still that state is not benefited because they are paid a fixed royalty, and they want and this commission recommends a revision of this royalty. And current ceiling of professional tax, that is less than 2500 rupees, should be completely done with scope, because to increase the taxation power of the states. This is to increase the taxation power of the states. Only if they have a taxation power, they can be financially independent. Only if they are financially independent, they can be effectively independent from that of center and state, that from that of center. Scope for raising more revenues from taxes under Article 268 should be examined afresh through Financial Commission or an expert committee. All fiscal legislation should be assessed, and a report should be submitted by an independent body annually to the parliament and the state legislature about all the fiscal legislation. The terms of reference of financial commission should involve the states for equitability between the states and center. Terms of reference means a purpose. Review all the cess and surcharge to reduce central's share in gross tax revenue, and review the distinction between the plan and non-plan expenditures, that is mentioned in the financial commission. And there should be coordination between the financial commission and planning commission, and there should be a sync in period between the financial commission and planning commission. But then now it is irrelevant because Niti Aayog replaced the planning commission. Financial commission should be a division in Ministry of Finance, uh, should be converted into a full-fledged department serving Financial Commission as a permanent secretariat. Currently there is a Financial Commission division. This should become a secretariat of Financial Commission. And Planning Commission should coordinate instead of micromanage the central ministries and the states. Well, this has been almost implemented through Niti Aayog. Set up constitutional body called Interstate Trade and Commerce Commission under Article 307 with the advisory and executive role with the decision making powers that are final and binding on union and state, while the aggrieved party can in case of any decision taken by the Interstate Trade and Commerce Commission, if there is an aggrieved party, they can appeal to the Supreme Court. Thank you.